Okay, I'm going to continue talking about this. Okay, I'm going to continue. So we have a lot of different places we can get the material. Let's begin. Good. Let's continue because it's a little longer here. So it's a good idea, as it says here, that you can store, let's say that some materials, some ideas, so you can use later in class. Okay, functions of ERT, sorry, EFL materials. Okay, who wants to read this?
Me, professor, I can read.
Please, miss.
Okay. Functions of EFL materials. In general, EFL materials have twin functions. One, EFL materials offers information and data about English, the social context and culture within which communication takes place and derives much of its meaning and value. In this sense, EFL materials need to be authentic in terms of communication and to the world outside the classroom. 2. EFL materials promote learning. They fulfill this in the way they offer activities and tasks which challenge the competence of the learners. In this sense, the EFL materials should be based on the students' needs and world, challenging, that is having the right level of difficulty and within the student's reach in terms of the student's knowledge and experience, reflecting the real life use of the language, authentic, highly interesting, novel, meaningful, useful, and introducing both spoken and written standards form.
Yes, very good. That's the idea when you teach English as a foreign language, okay? So you have to keep in mind, no? The function, what are the function of the function of the material?
To promote e-learning and offer information.
Yes. Okay, that will be, no? Yes, very good. Okay, should be reflect the real life use of language, okay? Very good. For specific purposes. For example, you are teaching students for a career, for example, business, medicine, okay? What are the characteristics that you should take on, okay? A ver, who wants to read this for a specific purpose?
Me, professor?
Please, Ms. Segarra.
Yes, for a specific purpose, EFL material functions. To teach English to students, I couldn't say. Okay. To teach English to students of non-English department, for example, job seekers, professionals like engineer, technicians, pilots, doctors, tourism practitioners, etc. To teach English on a special subject, not about the subject. To teach certain forms used in the special subject. Most, if not all, EFL teacher use a textbook or course book. Some may want textbooks only and follow every step in the textbooks slavishly. Others may use several different books, adapting them where necessary and supplementing them with their own materials. Thus, according to Rashid, EFL materials may serve different functions to the teachers depending upon how the teachers treat them.
Yes. So what is the problem here? What is the problem that a teacher for a specific purpose can face? What problems they deal with?
Perhaps that the teacher have to, as it says, to adapting the materials according to career or the group of people who are teaching.
Yes, very good. It's well, it's difficult to find a material that could fit, for example, just engineer or technicians. Okay, sometimes maybe it's too technical. Okay, so that's why the teacher should prepare their own material. No? Maybe they can use the book as a base, and they had to look for other material to contribute, you know, to that book. Okay, to make it more didactic, more useful. No? Okay. Okay, here we have some different ideas about textbooks. Okay, for example, the first says the textbook as a master. Okay, this also right states that if the teacher teaches through the material, problems may occur with the textbook as a master. The learning objectives are the textbooks. There is little room for improvisation, and the teacher and the learner roles may well be predetermined and contrary to expectation. Okay, so textbook shouldn't be a master in our class. Okay, we have to have, sometimes no, it's compulsory to have a textbook, but it shouldn't be the master in our class. Okay, but what about the others? The other textbook as a servant. The teacher, if the teacher, as right further states, teaches with the materials, with a textbook as a servant, then he is free to improvise and adapt the course of lesson to the needs of the learners. Teachers and learners can also generate new content from within and from outside the material and concentrate on interpersonal relationships in the class. Okay, this is something that it could be good, because if you have a textbook, you can use it as a support, as a base in our class, but we can introduce extra material. Okay, that's the idea of this. And also we as a teacher have to be conscious about the needs of our students. Okay, good. What about text as an end? Okay, text as an end. If the teacher teaches through materials, starting from the first unit to the next, and believes that the goal sets in the textbooks are the things that the students have to learn, the textbook becomes an end. The teacher will then feel relieved and think that this task is over and he has thought through the textbook. Okay, good. So, okay, sometimes, well, we started from the first unit. We have to say the first unit of our textbook. Okay, but if we do this, we are saying that the textbook is the thing that we have to teach, and maybe we don't feel our students' needs or the methodology is not good, maybe, no? So we have to think about that. We have to evaluate the material, so it shouldn't be the end of our class. Okay. What about this? 4, the text as resources. The material in English textbook usually often offer information and data about English, and in particular about the social context and the culture within which communicative take place and prime much of its meaning and value. The textbooks can fulfill this if they contain authentic material. So this is the most important thing in the textbooks. They have authentic material. Okay, good. Let's continue reading this. Number 5 and 6. Who wants to read number 5 and 6?
Me.
Okay,
Hey, teacher.
Miss Patricia, please.
Okay. Number 5, no?
Yes, please.
Okay. The textbooks are teaching aids. The material in the textbooks may have a role to promote learning and language learning in particular. The textbook fulfills this role in this way. The material often activities, tasks, and exercises which challenge the competence of the learners. Continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. The textbook as a syllabus. A textbook may be written following the order of syllabus items of particular course. Many English textbooks for secondary schools in Indonesian, for example, in the same order of the national syllabus item, structural syllabus. On the one hand, the textbooks relieve the secondary school teachers of English from the pressure of having to think of material for every class. On the other hand, the teachers might slavishly follow the prescribed procedures in the textbook, which involve a rigid sequences that is the same format from one unit to the next. This is the course of not motivating as it leaves not room for variation.
Yes, that's it. Okay. So the textbook as a syllabus. It's important that, well, there is a problem here, no? It is a syllabus of our course. But here in Bolivia, we don't have this, no? Textbooks for students at the school. You can how do you say this? You can debate, or you can choose whatever you want, and you can put it into your class. And it's not compulsory a structural syllabus here in Bolivia. Okay, okay, that's an advantage for us. Okay, good. Okay. So those are the characteristics of some textbooks. Okay. What about for learners? Think about these 2 paragraphs. Number 1. Who wants to read this? Number 1. The textbook as a self-tutor.
May I please, Professor?
Yes, please. Yes. Good afternoon.
The textbook as a self-tutor. An English textbook might function as a self-tutor to students. For example, most course materials for the Open University are designed in such a way that the students can learn the materials and assess themselves. Wow.
Yes. Have you ever heard about this kind of material or no?
It will be very interesting if we don't have any time and we can read or learn in our own time. But some students, you know, as young students, won't be serious about and won't be honest.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's a problem here in Bolivia. Yeah, the cheating problem is difficult, okay? But for example, we have some from Cambridge, English grammar in use. This is a self-book, self-tutor, no, to the students. They can start reading, and they can start studying, no? English grammar and use this material. At the end, they have the answer. Okay, and also this book I was watching the other day had a video, no? So you can complement the video with the textbook, and maybe you can use this material, for example, to give extra homework to your students, no? To motivate so they can be more conscious about the rules of the grammar rules or things like that. Okay. And well, there are other kinds of self access books. Okay. Good. Number 2. Who wants to read number 2?
I can read it.
Yes, please, Ms. Ortiz, Rosa. Ortiz.
Number 2, the textbook as the learning aids. The learners learn through the materials for the EFL textbook, starting from the first until to the next, under or without the teacher's instruction. They were told to learn by all means the contents of the textbook, hoping to have a good achievement at the end.
Yes.
Oh, do I continue?
Yes, please.
Nowadays, students can learn English in many different ways since professors have access to new and more innovative technologies. For instance, teachers are not more stick or blackboards for teaching and presenting the subject matters to the learners because they can use new technological resources as video projector and PowerPoint presentations. In fact, teacher can show the topic in very catching and interesting way to the learners. The main problem that professors have to face is the lacking of technology in most of the national educational centers. As a result, good teachers have to be prepared to teach using technological resources, but also to teach without them.
Yes. Okay, what do you think about this point? Do you think that it's a good idea to say to the student, well, you have the textbook, you have the answers there, and then you're going to learn? Yes or no? Yes, using a
May
textbook.
I, Professor?
Yes, please.
Yes. I think the idea of having a professor or a teacher, to learn is very important in a student's life.
Mhm.
So we cannot give the students just a textbook and hoping that they do by themselves.
Yes.
So it is important to have a professor, and the professor has to have access to talk to the students and help the students, to guide the students.
Yes. Okay. But also, you as a teacher, we can promote them to be autodidactas. ¿No? It's a good, okay, they can start little by little, ¿no? Because sometimes, for example, problems like we faced these 2 years, the pandemic, the students had to develop their own learning, no? They had to develop their own creativity, okay? Professors are needed, but sometimes professors can teach their students to be autodidactic, okay? And
I also think at least we as teachers should learn, even if it's basic, let's say, but obviously it's better if we go like higher than that, using technology, as we can be very smart and have a lot of knowledge, but if we do not know how to present our topic or whatever we're trying to teach them, then that means we are also lacking or failing, as we don't know how to apply all these things. So if we don't know how to show all this and then teach them, obviously students will not have the same interest in learning the topic we're trying to, teach.
Yes, that's it. Okay. But that's why today the role of the teacher have changed a lot, because teachers now they are not anymore the source of knowledge. They now teachers should be a guide, should be somebody who can help the students to develop their own learning. Okay. Good, very good. Excellent. Okay. Now it's talking about something about the internet and the platform. Let's here, for example. Who wants to read this? Two more paragraphs.
Hi, Professor.
Please.
I would like to say goodbye to the blackboard. Thank you, Professor.
Okay.
When I saw the word blackboard, I said, wow, must be something that we are going to say goodbye to him.
Okay.
Or to it. The blackboard is one of the oldest means to teach and to show information, but it's still working in many educational centers despite its monotony. It is very useful in the classroom. It is very criticized by the most and very appreciated by less. In fact, teachers have to learn how to manage boards in a correct way, since they can be boring, but ironically, they are the most popular resource in elementary schools and high schools. It can be the best professor's ally in the teaching process. The only point is that he has to avoid to overusing it. Yeah, because it's gonna get boring.
Yeah.
Internet is becoming the most common tool in the English teaching learning process because it is an interactive tool for teaching. Nowadays, it is very popular, the distance education. People can get different kinds of degrees through internet. According to Moore and Kersley, the fundamental concept of distance education is simple enough. Students and teachers are separate by distance and sometimes by time. For this reason, this kind of education is useful for people who work, such as, and do not have enough time to go to the university campus. In fact, students can access to blogs and chats in order to get their classes. Moreover, video conferences are used as ways to transmit important information to online learners. Internet is changing all the concept of teaching learning, but the main problem is that not all teachers and students have access to these tools.
Yes. Okay. Good, very good. That's we are facing. Right? This is our reality now. The internet.
Now they-
Yes. 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 Okay, very good. Okay. Good. Okay, let's continue. Why do we evaluate materials? Okay, let's look at this. Why do we evaluate materials? Who wants to read this?
Me, Professor.
Please, Mr. Quintero.
Okay. Why do we evaluate materials? We carry out systematic evaluations of materials currently in use in order to find out to what they agree and what they do not facilitate language learning so that we can identify the popular and successful teachers. of existing materials. I cannot read, and which will help you, which will help us to produce better materials. We evaluate existing materials with a view of choosing suitable materials for language programs. We evaluate materials that we have already chosen or that we have seen chosen for us, so that we can adapt the materials in order to make them better fit. We can adapt the materials in order to make them better with the needs of the students and the needs of teaching. We also evaluate materials produced by ourselves so the necessary revision can be made.
Okay, very good. So why do we evaluate materials? What are the main points in this?
Uh,
Anybody?
to see if the material is good to teach, because sometimes the material is not it's not for the level that we want to teach. So we have to see if that material is fine to use it. We can use it and change modify that material according to the level we want to use it or to apply.
Yes. Yes, that's right, no? Can we evaluate our own material? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes, it's important to do that, no? Okay,
Yes.
that's it. Principles in materials evaluation. Let's continue with this. Okay, there are two principles in material evaluation: effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness principle is a course book effective in meeting the needs of the learners? Okay, that's a question that we have to ask. To answer this question, the evaluator needs to compare what the learner knew and were able to do before they use the course book with what they know and are able to do after they had used the book. Okay, so is the course book effective in meeting the needs of the learners? That's a good question. The efficiency
May I,
principle. Yes, Martha? Yes, Martha?
may I ask, answer this part that if the course book effective in meeting the needs of the learner?
Yes.
Of course, we need to do that.
Yes, it's important to ask this question. We have to look our material and say it's good for it's effective to fulfill the needs of our learners. Okay. And the other questions should be, does a course book meet the needs of the learners more effectively than some alternative course books? Does a course book meet the needs of the learners more effectively than some alternative course books? To investigate efficiency, it's necessary to compare the learning gains evidence by using one course book with the gains evidence by another books. Okay, so we have to think about the efficiency, no? Principle. Okay, and here I have some information about this. We have to, when we want to evaluate something, okay, we have to look for this. Defining criteria, we have to do a subjective analysis, an objective analysis, and the match. Okay, something that is talking about this. I'm going to send you some charts and mind map so you can understand this. Okay, and you have a guide to evaluate material. Okay. I have here. Okay, so those are the four processes that you have to evaluate material, okay? Defining criteria, subjective analysis, objective analysis, and matching. Okay. What is defining criteria? Okay. On what basis will you judge materials? Okay, which criteria will be more important? Okay, so you have two criteria, subjective analysis and objective analysis. What is a subjective analysis? What of the criteria do you want in your course? Okay, objective analysis, how does the material being evaluated realize the criteria? And matching, how far does the material match your needs? Okay, right now I'm going to send you this chart. So it's in the book. So we can have as a guide to evaluate material. Okay, and then we're going to start evaluating the material that you have developed. Okay, and if we are going to evaluate, and then we're going to compare. Okay, and here I'm going to send you a picture about this chart that is in the book. A minute. Sorry. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Mhm. I'm going to send you the objectives. Okay. Let's do the objective. Okay. Sorry. Objectives. I made a mistake there. Okay. And also I'm going to send you the chart that you can see in your, okay. I am sending to the group.
Do you mind taking a picture again from the evaluation and the objective as it cut off some of the info, please?
Again, okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Objectives. Okay, I made a mistake again. Great. Can you see now?
Thank you. That's much better.
Yeah, okay. And also we have the charts. You please start analyzing, and then we are going to apply. Okay. I'm sending you the whole chart so you can start reading and you can choose which items can help you to evaluate your material. Okay. 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 I'm sending you the pictures, and we are going to connect in 10 minutes. Okay, so you can read carefully the material that I'm sending you. Okay.
Can you please send us back the methodology as it got blurry and I cannot see anything?
Okay.
Please. That's the last one.
Yes. Yeah.